Father Pat O'Malley was a great Chicago priest who passed away last year. He loved sports and basketball. This year, the tournament is named after him, the Father Pat Invitational, in remembrance of Father Pat O'Malley.
We have a team that we practice twice a week, and you know, if it weren't for the tournament, it would be harder to get people out to play basketball. So in a way, it's a reason to come out. Not only are we going to do this fun thing, this tournament, but everybody gets a chance to get to know guys from other places. And it's just a good way to realize that, you know, we're not alone in this, that there are more people ready and willing to give their lives over to Christ out there that we never see. And that's always encouraging, I think.
This tournament goes back about 14 years, and I've always just loved the buzz of this weekend. Just the energy, the excitement, the camaraderie, the competition of the games. It's a great spirit, and to me it's always been a way to show this new generation of seminarians and all of their focus and energy, enthusiasm, excitement.
I went to a basketball tournament at another seminary a couple of years ago, and I remember the priest said to us in a homily, "You don't know each other, but you all know Christ." I didn't know these guys from Adam, but there was already kind of a bond there. As guys getting ready to be priests, it was like we had the same best friend, you know? And so you already know something about the other guy because of Jesus.
I play basketball so that I can be a seminarian, ultimately, is what it comes down to. Because it's going to allow me to stay physically fit. We're soul and body, so I have to take care of that. It's a gift that God's given me. Which is kind of interesting to think, like, basketball is serving a purpose in God's plan and God's mission in my life.
When we become a priest, everyone knows what we stand for and who we are. And everything that we do is an example of the church. So in a sense, we're in the front lines. People associate us with our church, as they should. Whatever we do reflects our church, and whatever the church does reflects us.
A seminarian is tried, a priest is tried in his vocations. The perception of the priesthood has really changed, and really by the culture is viewed in a negative light. You'd think men would shy away from the seminary, men would shy away from vocations, but yet we see that call to a difficult lifestyle. We see that call to a sacrificial life, and that really appeals to men.
Fear comes from a lot of places. One is this something strange I'm going into? Will my family and friends think I'm crazy? Will they support me? There's a natural fear there. There's a fear, too, of the radical self-gift involved in priesthood. So John Paul II talks about the law of the gift. It just means your being increases in the measure you give it away. Well, that's a good Christian principle. It runs counter, though, to a lot of the culture. So people are fearful of giving themselves away.
The higher we go in the Christian life, whether you be a layman with some authority, or if you're a deacon or a priest or a bishop or even the Pope, the higher you go, the lower you must go. Eventually you go high enough that there is not a job that's beneath you.
The priest should live a life of sacrifice, a life of struggles, but should also do it with the knowledge that Christ has risen, which gives him immense joy, which is a joy and a peace that the world cannot touch, the world can't take away, which is why we can look back and see the saints and see the martyrs. You know, you're being burned at the stake, and yet you have a pervading peace about you. How can that be? It's because their happiness is not contingent upon anything here on this earth.
Everything we do in Christ, whether it be eat breakfast or play basketball or celebrate the Mass, everything is touched with glory because of Christ. If you're a priest, that's your vocation, that's your calling, it's who you are. You play basketball as a priest.
I see no other life worth living for me than being a priest, a Catholic priest. It's a lot of pressure, but yet it's a gift as well.
This guy, Jesus, if you can muster the trust to follow him into the breach, I've experienced this, that every single time you go there with him, there's this glory on the other side. I believe that ordination and the years to follow in the priesthood will be filled with that glory.